My dear students, you're welcome to this online session for English teaching for class 8th. The textbook that we are going to refer to is Mulberry from Oxford University Press. It is 12 proses and 6 poems. Keeping in mind that you people don't get confused, I am using the same textbook. So in this lecture, we are going to start with the first chapter, The New House by John Boyne. John Boyne is an Irish novelist. He is the author of 11 novels for adults and 6 novels for younger readers. His novels are published in over 50 languages. His 2006 novel, The Boy in the Striped Pyjamas, was adapted into a 2008 film of the same name. So here in the story, The New House, it is a story of a boy who used to live in Berlin, which is in Germany, in 1943. He comes home one day to find that his family's maid, Maria, she was packing all of his things away in boxes. Bruno's mother, she tells him that the family is moving away due to the demands of his father's new job. The father has been promoted and therefore now who is a commandant in the German army now. So the boy was suddenly told that they were going to move to a new place. Okay, so before going any further, let me tell you about the characters in the story. Here we have this 9-year-old boy, Bruno. Then his parents, his mother and father who is the commandant, as I already told you, he is a commandant in the German army. His 12-year-old sister, Gretel, and their house help, Maria. Okay, these are the characters in this story. So, in the beginning of the story itself, we are told that Bruno does not like his new home. He misses his friends, he misses his house, and he misses the sights and sounds of the city that they came from, which was Berlin. So he feels very lonely here. So when he first saw his new home here, he is astonished and depressed by the fact that it is the complete opposite of his comfortable, warm home in Berlin. The new house at Outwith is in the desolate, empty place with no neighboring homes or lovely town street. Bruno feels that he is in the loneliest place on earth, in the middle of nowhere. He also feels like there is no laughter or warmth in his new home. In contrast to this enormous, spacious home in Berlin, the new house is Outwith is relatively boring, cold, and mundane. There are no nooks or small rooms to explore, and there is no large banister to slide down like there was at his home in Berlin. However, there is a mysterious camp encircled by a high fence which Bruno can see from his back window, which he will figure out in the later part of the story. He is too young and naive to realize that this home is just outside of a horrific Nazi concentration camp, which explains its desolate location and depressing atmosphere. Overall, he hates his new home and desires to move back to Berlin immediately. He finds his new home to be boring, cold, and uncomfortable. As the story progresses, not here in this first chapter, but in the novel The Boy in the Striped Pyjamas, as the story will progress, he will become close friends with a Jewish prisoner named Shmuel and seems to adjust to life at Outwith. this new house that he has come to. Because this boy, he turns out to be the boy of his age. So Bruno will think that this boy is his friend. They both also share the same date of birth, which was again one of the things Bruno liked about him. And then when they will become close friends, there are again stories about how they spent their afternoons playing with each other, exchanging their things that they had. Bruno, he will start taking good food for the boy who was probably not fed well. So before continuing the story, I would also like you to know about a few terms, okay, regarding and the conditions then. Okay, so okay, let me just give this as a homework to you people. First, get to know about what were concentration camps, then who were Nazis, who were Jews, who was Adolf Hitler. Okay, let this be your homework. So when you make a notebook, I also want you people to include these terms there, and just in brief you can explain it there. In case you have any doubt, you can reach out to me. And also I would like to discuss this novel in detail once we get back to the school. This is really very interesting story. Those who are interested in knowing more about it now, they can search the movie with the same name on YouTube. Alright, so I will now continue with this story, with this excerpt that we have in our syllabus, The New House. Okay, the story of the 9-year-old boy Bruno, who had to leave his house in Berlin, okay, and move to a new house along with his parents, his 12-year-old sister Gretel, and their house help Maria. Bruno's father, who was a commandant in the German army during World War II, had been given transfer orders, and so the family moved to the new house. So I hope you are now familiar with all the characters and the situation in which they have come to the new place. Alright, moving further, when he first saw their new house, Bruno's eyes opened wide. His mouth made a shape of an O, and his arms stretched out at his sides. Everything about it seemed to be the exact opposite of their old home, and he couldn't believe that they were really going to live there. Alright. The house in Berlin had stood on a quiet street, and alongside it were a handful of other big houses like his own. Okay, so as I have already told you that the place that they have shifted to turned out to be very dull and boring. Okay, so it was always nice to look at them because they were almost the same as his house, but not quite. So talking about his place in Berlin, he found the houses there, the streets there, more attractive than the current ones, okay, than those where he had shifted. So coming to the next stanza, okay, I think I missed a sentence. Other boys lived in them who he played with or steered clear of. Okay, he played with those who were friendly in nature and steered clear of the boys who were trouble, who were trouble as in not the good ones, who caused trouble to the people around them. Okay, coming to the next stanza. The new house, however, stood all on its own in an empty, desolate place, and there were no other houses anywhere to be seen, which meant there would be no other families around and no other boys to play with, neither friends nor trouble. So I hope it is quite clear, simple language. Okay, moving further, the house in Berlin was enormous. Enormous means huge. Okay, also in case there are some words that you find difficult to understand, since we cannot communicate on daily basis here during the lecture, what you people can do is find out the meaning of all the words that you don't understand the meaning of. All right. Also, you will see on the end of each page, as you are familiar with this book, that you have word meanings. I would like you people to go through the word meanings and note them down in your copies, all the words that are given in the book as well as the new words that you don't understand the meaning of. All right. So coming back to the text, the house in Berlin was enormous, and even though he had lived there for 9 years, he was still able to find nooks and crannies that he hadn't fully finished exploring yet. Why? Since the house was so huge, there was still a lot of rooms that he had not explored, a lot of things that he had not explored. You people know it well. You have just been through the very age that the Bruno is of, so you people know it better than us grown-ups, right? How exciting it is to explore things around you. So the house he lived in was very huge that the boy found it very exciting, moving here and there, playing with the friends and exploring new things in it. Okay, so there were even whole rooms such as father's office, which was out of bounds at all times and no exceptions, that he had barely been inside. So what does this mean? That he was not at all allowed in his father's office. However, the new house had only 3 floors. So see, this new house which had three floors, it was considered as very dull and boring. Okay, so the 3 floors that he had in the house were a top floor where all the 3 bedrooms were and only 1 bathroom, a ground floor with a kitchen, a dining room and a new office for father, which he presumed had the same restrictions as the old one, and a basement where the house help slept. So can you recall the 3 floors that he had here? The first floor, it was a top floor where all the 3 bedrooms and 1 bathroom, the ground floor with a kitchen and dining room and a new office for father, and a basement where the house help slept. Okay, house help means the servants they had for their help. Also, presume means to suppose. All right. Okay, coming to the next paragraph. All around the house in Berlin were other streets of large houses where, when you walked towards the center of the town, there were always people strolling along and stopping to chat with each other or rushing around and saying they had no time to stop. Not today, not when they had 101 things to do. So what this tells us about the atmosphere and the people back in Berlin, it tells us that people there, they were quite chatty. They like to talk a lot. They like to roam around, and although they were talking and roaming while they were going out to the market and stuff, they were showing that they were very, very busy. They had 101 things to do. So that whenever they met their friends, they did not have much time to talk about things. Okay, so there were shops with bright storefronts and fruit and vegetable stalls with big trays piled high with cabbages, carrots, cauliflowers and corn. Sometimes he liked to stand in front of these stalls and close his eyes and breathe in their aromas, feeling his head grow dizzy with the mixed scents of sweetness and life. So what he used to do, he used to feel the moment, feel the aroma. Aroma means the fragrance, and feeling his head grow dizzy. Dizzy means light-headed, feeling that the one when you have the feeling when your head is spinning. Okay, that kind of feeling he had. But there were no other streets around the new house. no one strolling along or rushing around, and definitely no shops or fruits and vegetable stop. When he closed his eyes, everything around him just felt empty and cold, as if he was in the loneliest place in the world. As I had already told you while I was summarizing the chapter, he felt that he has entered the loneliest place in the world. There was something about the new house that made Bruno think that no one ever laughed there, that there was nothing to laugh at and nothing to be happy about. So the place gave him a very dull feeling. Alright. So moving to the next stanza. I think this was a bad idea, said Bruno a few hours after they arrived, while Maria was unpacking his suitcases upstairs. Maria wasn't the only house help at the new house either. There were 3 others who only ever spoke to each other in whispering voices. There was an old man too, who, he was told, was there to prepare the vegetables every day and wait on them at the dinner table, and who looked not only unhappy but also a little angry. I think the best thing to do would be to forget all about this and just go back home. We can chalk it up to our experience, he added, a phrase he had learned recently and was determined to use as often as possible. So here we get to know that the boy, he still has hope that they can go back. He just didn't like the place at all, that he was not at all willing to try to live there. Alright, so even now he was suggesting that they should stop unpacking and go back to their previous house. Mother smiled. I have another phrase for you, she said. It's that we have to make the best of a bad situation. So whatever situation we have, it is the bad situation here. We just have to make the best out of it. Well, I don't know that we do, said Bruno. I think you should just tell father that you have changed your mind. And, well, if we have to stay here for the rest of the day and have dinner here this evening and sleep here tonight because we are all tired, then that's all right. But we should probably get up early in the morning if we are to make it back to Berlin by tea time tomorrow. So even now the boy suggests that they must leave at any cost. Mother sighed. Bruno, why don't you just go upstairs and help Maria unpack? She asked. But there's no point unpacking if we are only going to. Okay, so the boy here is still arguing that they need to go back to the previous house, that is in Berlin. Then here the mother cuts to what he was saying. She just cut him in the middle of the sentence and says, Bruno, just do it, please, snapped mother, because apparently it was all right if she interrupted him, but it didn't work the other way round. You people also feel the same way round, yes or not? The parents, the elders, the teachers, they can stop you when you are saying something, but you are not supposed to, right? Alright, coming back to the story. We are here, we have arrived. This is our home for the foreseeable future, and we just have to make the best of things. Do you understand me? Foreseeable future means, okay, that can be able to be predicted. Okay, means they don't know up to how long they were going to stay there, till probably next promotion or transfer. He didn't understand what the foreseeable future meant and told her so. It means that this is where we live now, Bruno. said mother, and that's an end to it. Okay, enough of the discussion. Now the mother seemed to be unhappy about the talk. Unhappy as in she was angry at the talk, and she just asked the boy to go and help Maria in unpacking the things. Bruno couldn't understand how this had all come about. One day he was perfectly content playing at home with three best friends for life, sliding down banisters, trying to stand on his tiptoes to see right across Berlin, and now he was stuck here in this cold, nasty house where no one looked as if they could ever be cheerful again. So everyone here was so gloomy, so dull and boring. Everyone seemed so unhappy with their lives at this place that Bruno just didn't want to stay here with the family. Bruno, I want you to go upstairs and unpack, and I want you to do it now, said mother in an unfriendly voice, and he knew that she meant business, so he turned round and marched away without another word. This is the time he knew that the mother was actually angry about it, and there was nothing that could be done anymore. So on his floor there were just 4 doors, 2 on either side. Either means both the sides facing each other. So there were total 4 doors. A door into his room, a door into Gretel's room, a door into mother and father's room, and a door into the bathroom. This isn't home, and it never will be, he muttered under his breath as he went through his own door to find all his clothes scattered on the bed, and the boxes of toys and books not even unpacked yet. Okay, so what he wanted to be unpacked first, it was the boxes of toys, obviously, for the boy of this age. It was obvious that Maria did not have her priorities right. So this is what the boy thought. She didn't know that she must have opened the boxes of toys and books first and not the clothes. Mother sent me to help, he said quietly. He was definitely not happy about the fact. Okay, so he just told Maria very quietly that. Maria nodded and pointed towards a big bag that contained all his socks and vests and underpants. So what she did, she pointed towards the bag with the socks, vests and underpants. If you sort that lot out, you could put them in the chest of drawers over there, she said, pointing towards an ugly chest that stood across the room beside a mirror that was covered in dust. Okay, so the chest where he was supposed to put his clothes, it was not even clear, as we can see. Also the this house help Maria, she also didn't seem very interested. Okay, she also seemed to be very gloomy after coming here. Then simply she did not interact with the boy. She just asked, as the boy said that he was there to help, she asked him to sort the lot out. So the boy thought that he must talk with her. He must, basically the boy needed someone to talk his heart out. Okay, talk what was in his heart. So he said, what do you think of all this, Maria? He asked after a long silence, because he had always liked Maria and felt as if she was one of the family. All what? She asked. This, he said, as if it was the most obvious thing in the world. Coming to a place like this, don't you think we have made a big mistake? That's not for me to say, said Maria. Your mother has explained to you about your father's job and... Oh, I'm tired of hearing about father's job, said Bruno, interrupting her. So since everyone he talked to or asked about this thing told that it was because of the father's job, Bruno got angry this time, and this shows that Maria was someone with whom Bruno shared his feelings. Alright, so he was very carefree while he was talking to her, and as soon as he heard about his father's job, which was actually the reason they moved here, he got angry and he said, I am tired of hearing about my father's job. That's all we ever hear about, if you ask me. Father's job this and father's job that. Well, if father's job means that we have to move away from our house and the sliding banister and my 3 best friends for life, then I think father should think twice about his job, don't you? So here, finally, he is taking out his anger again on Maria. Earlier we saw him getting angry with the mother, and here he is angry with, he is taking his anger out in front of, not at Maria, in front of Maria. Alright, so basically he is angry with the father, and he is also very sad about the fact that they had to stay here. Alright, moving to the next paragraph. Just at that moment, there was a creak outside in the hallway, and Bruno looked up to see the door of mother and father's room opening slightly. He froze, unable to move for a moment, because here he felt that his father had listened to what he was saying to Maria. The father figure, the father's image that is portrayed here is, he seemed to be very stern, very serious person, and Bruno is really afraid of him. I think most of you are too of your fathers. You are more friendly with your mothers than your father, right? He is the one who controls you people. So same is with Bruno. He is very scared of his father. So he froze because for a moment he felt that his father had listened to all that he was saying regarding his job, and they are moving to this new house. Mother was still downstairs, which meant that father was in there and he might have heard everything that Bruno had just said. He watched the door, hardly daring to breathe, wondering whether father might come through it and take him downstairs for a serious talking to. Okay, talking to means, you know, when your parents take your class or when your teachers take your class, not the class that is going on right now, but the class they take when you have done something wrong, when you have committed a mistake, right? So he knew that now he was going to get a good scolding from his father. The door opened wider and Bruno stepped back as a figure appeared, but it wasn't father. It was a much younger man and not as tall as father either, but he wore the same type of uniform, only without as many decorations on it. Decorations means, you people must have noticed some medals or awards on soldiers' uniform. Okay, so the soldier here, that the younger man that appeared in front of him, he wore the same kind of uniform, but he had lesser awards, medals on his uniform. He was carrying a box in his hands and walking towards the staircase. He gave Bruno a quick nod and continued on his way. Now, I think you people also can understand that Bruno here was very relieved that it was not his father, but at the same time he was also suspicious as to who was this man. Who was that? Asked Bruno. The young man had seemed so serious and busy that he assumed he must be someone very important. Okay, so man did not wait there, man did not waste time in chatting with the boy or introducing himself to the boy. He was so serious and busy that Bruno thought that he would be someone very important. One of your father's soldiers, I suppose, said Maria. We'll get to know them in time. Since they were new to the place, they didn't know the people. So Maria suggested that they would gradually know the people living around them, also the soldiers that work for his fathers. I don't think I like him, said Bruno. He was too serious. I don't even think there's going to be anyone to play with other than Gretel. Gretel, we remember, his 12-year-old sister. And what fun is that after all? She's a hopeless case. Okay, so he clearly doesn't like his sister. I think most of us, we keep on fighting with our siblings. Yes or not? So we have argument about almost everything. Okay, so he felt as if he was about to cry again, but stopped himself. He somehow controlled. He looked around the room without fully lifting his eyes up from the ground, trying to see whether there was anything of interest to be found. There wasn't, or there didn't seem to be. But then one thing caught his eye. Over the corner of the room, opposite the door, there was a window in the ceiling that stretched down into the wall. He walked slowly towards it, hoping that from here, he might be able to see all the way back to Berlin and his house and the streets around it and the tables where people sat and told each other hilarious stories. Okay, so he still had hope that somehow he will find something that would somehow be interesting. So what we see in this extract, we find the struggle of a boy, of a young boy, of any changes in his life, the struggle of moving to a new place, the struggle of leaving his life and friends behind. And what was the reason? The reason was just father's transfer. How he had to leave everything behind because of his father's job. Alright, so I think the story was quite easy and clear. If you have any doubt, I will get in touch with you people. In the end, I am going to give you people these questions and answers, these exercises. Followed by these question answers. All of you are expected to try to answer all these questions. I will upload my next video soon with the answers. Till then, try to answer all these questions. With this, I would end my video. Have a happy learning and stay safe. Take care, students.